trying to capture the reality of becoming a first-time mom with, like, just a simple photograph is, honestly, it's like trying to capture a hurricane in a mason jar.
Oh, yeah. Completely impossible.
Right. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, you point a camera, you click a button, and you get this pixel-perfect JPEG of a sleeping newborn or a quiet hospital room.
Which is nice, but...
But that flat image, it cannot capture the absolute physical exhaustion or, the sudden, almost violent shift in your personal identity.
Right, the sheer weight of your entire universe just changing overnight.
Exactly.
And that makes sense biologically, because a photograph is just a visual freeze frame. When a human being goes through an emotional and physical transition of that magnitude, the brain actually, it struggles to process it in real time.
Because of shock.
Yeah. We experience massive sensory overload. So to cope with that, we don't just need pictures. We actually need physical anchors.
Which is exactly what we're getting into. And exploring those physical anchors is our mission for you today. Welcome to this deep dive.
Glad to be here.
If you are listening to this and you've ever had a newborn or, even if you've just supported someone who has, you know exactly how overwhelming those first few weeks are.
Oh, absolutely.
So today, we are looking at a really interesting stack of source materials centered around finding the perfect Mother's Day gift for a first-time mom.
Yeah, we're examining a highly curated gift guide from the jewelry brand, Theo Grace.
Theo Grace.
Right. And it's put together by Natasha Johnson, who is a creative. She spent about 15 years in the media world, so her background really leans heavily into design and aesthetics.
Makes sense for a gifts guide.
Exactly. And along with her writing, we have this robust collection of visual materials. So product images, promotional text, and brand assets detailing a really specific collaboration they did with Nikki Hilton.
Yeah. But I want to be clear with you right up front. This is not a shopping list.
Definitely.
We aren't here to, read off a product catalog for you. We are going to use these items to uncover the psychology of sentimentality.
Which is super fascinating.
It really is. We want to understand how humans use physical objects to sort of bolt down the overwhelming, fleeting emotions of new parenthood. Okay, let's unpack this.
So to start, the guide actually kicks off with items that aren't jewelry at all.
Right. It goes for the experiential stuff first.
Yeah, exactly. It focuses on the experiential. So Natasha Johnson suggests this whole suite of pamper gifts. Bath bombs, luxury oils, spa days, comfortable loungewear.
And candles, right.
Yes, specifically scented candles. It highlights calming profiles like lavender and chamomile.
And, when you just scan that list, it sounds like a standard, I don't know, luxury weekend package.
Right, like a nice treat.
But think about the physiological context here. The postpartum period is not just being, quote-unquote, tired.
Not at all.
It is less like a standard recovery and more like coming down from a multi-day adrenaline spike. Like you just ran an extreme marathon. Your brain's threat detection system has been redlining for days, maybe even weeks.
Yeah, and if we look at it through the lens of the nervous system, those items serve a very specific biological function.
How so?
Well, the guide notes that new moms have very little time for themselves, but it actually goes way deeper than that. When your body has been just flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, soft loungewear, or a chamomile candle, they act as physical stand-down orders to your brain.
Wow, stand-down orders. I like that.
Yeah. They are sensory cues telling the parasympathetic nervous system that it is finally safe to rest.
So they are essentially recovery gear, not just luxuries.
Exactly.
But then the guide takes a really specific turn when it comes to sensory gifts. Like item number 7 on the list isn't about relaxation at all.
Right. What's fascinating here is the perfume suggestion.
Yeah, this part was wild.
It really is. The guide doesn't just recommend buying a nice new fragrance. It specifically suggests gifting the mother the exact perfume she was wearing when she went into labor.
The exact same one.
The exact same one. The rationale is that this specific scent will bring back the strong emotions and memories from that magical day.
Okay, I have to push back on that logic, though.
I figured you might.
Because, come on, labor is famously, undeniably agonizing. Is that really a moment someone wants to be viscerally transported back to while they're just, trying to get through a random Tuesday afternoon?
Well, to understand why this works, you have to look at the neuroscience of olfactory memory.
Okay.
Our sense of smell is unique among all our senses. When you see something or hear something, that sensory data goes to the thalamus. which acts like the brain's switchboard before it gets routed to the processing areas.
Right, it gets filtered.
Exactly. But smell bypasses that switchboard completely.
Really?
Yeah, the olfactory bulb has a direct, unmediated neural link to the amygdala, which processes emotion, and the hippocampus, which handles learning and memory.
So it's literally a biological time machine.
Exactly, yes.
It doesn't ask for permission, it just drops you straight back into the feeling.
It forces a visceral recall. And to address your point about the pain of labor, the guide is actually very deliberate with its language, calling it that magical day.
Oh, right, the reframing.
Exactly. The psychology here is all about cognitive reframing. By reintroducing the scent after the trauma has passed, the brain is encouraged to reassociate that specific perfume, not with the clinical hospital environment or the physical pain, but with the ultimate reward of the baby's arrival.
Oh, I see. It's an attempt to capture the magic.
Precisely.
But here is the problem with relying on a chamomile candle or, like, a bottle of perfume to hold onto a memory.
Right, they don't last.
Yeah, eventually the candle burns out and the bottle's empty, scents fade, experiences end. So how does the human brain cope when the sensory anchor disappears?
It turns to something that won't fade. It craves permanence to combat the passage of time.
Which brings us to the jewelry.
Right, and the Theo Grace Guide illustrates this transition beautifully when it brings up flowers.
Yeah, the flower recommendations.
Yeah, it recommends two very specific types. First, Bali High flowers, noting that their soft pink buds symbolize new life. And then blue dendrobium flowers for baby boys, highlighting their vibrant blue petals and captivating fragrance.
But right after painting this gorgeous picture of fragrant blooming flowers, which, let's be honest, are going to wilt and end up in the compost bin in a week, the guide completely pivots.
It does a total 180.
Yeah. It tells the reader, if you want flowers that can last forever, gift her our birth flower necklace. It explicitly points out the flaw in temporary gifts to sell the permanence of metal.
Because it taps into the ultimate human desire. We want to take an abstract, fleeting emotion and forge it into something indestructible.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the visual evidence we have shows this isn't just a generic silver pendant that says mom.
No, it's highly customized.
Right. We have an image of a delicate gold chain necklace with a small diamond charm. But the main focal point is two distinct heart pendants. One heart is engraved with the name Charlie, and the second heart is engraved with a highly specific date, 11/4/2014.
Now, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this represents a massive evolution in how we use keepsake jewelry.
How so?
Well, historically, maternal jewelry leaned heavily on broad symbolism. You know, a simple heart, a generic silhouette of a child.
Like the classic Mother's Day stuff.
Right. What we are looking at with the Charlie necklace is a shift toward data-driven keepsakes.
Wow, data-driven. It's treating a piece of jewelry like a historical ledger.
That's exactly how it functions. Human beings use objects as an external brain.
External brain.
Yeah. By taking a specific name and engraving an exact fixed coordinate in time, November 4th, 2014, that mass-produced 18-karat gold plating is transformed into a unique artifact.
Because it's tied to that specific family's data.
Exactly. That string of numbers means absolutely nothing to a stranger on the street, but to the person wearing it, it is undeniable physical proof that their life changed forever on that exact day.
Right.
It offloads the burden of remembering from the fragile human mind onto something permanent.
It makes the memory undeniable. But I mean, think about your own family or the families around you. A family isn't a single coordinate frozen in 2014.
Definitely not.
Families are living organisms. They grow, they shift, they expand. If this jewelry is acting as a data record, how does a static piece of metal keep up with a family that is constantly changing?
Well, the visual sources answer that by showing a structural shift in the jewelry itself.
I'll go open heart ones.
Yes. We see images of open heart necklaces available in silver, gold, and rose gold. But instead of a flat surface with a single name engraved on it, the bottom curve of the open heart actually acts as a track.
Right, it's like a wire.
Yeah, it is threaded with multiple textured beads, and each bead has a name on it. We can clearly read them in the materials. There's Thomas, Becca, Diego, Grace.
Wait, so instead of committing to a solid engraving on day one, you just, like, add pieces to the track as you go?
Exactly. The design is inherently modular. It's engineered with the assumption of growth.
That is so smart. It's a living document. You have your first baby, you thread on a bead, you have another child, you add another bead.
Yeah.
The jewelry doesn't just record a single event. it evolves alongside the family timeline. It acknowledges that the mother's story is still being written.
And the definition of who gets included in that evolving story is expanding significantly, too.
Oh, for sure.
We see this perfectly illustrated in another visual source, the silver hexagon-shaped locket.
The one presented in the light blue box.
Yes.
So in the image, the locket is held open. The left side is engraved with the initials BL, and on the right side there is a tiny, perfectly fitted photograph.
But when you look closely, it's not a picture of a human baby.
Nope. It's a photograph of a couple posing with their dog.
Which is amazing. And this raises an important question about how modern brands reinterpret history.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the hidden photo locket is a distinctly Victorian concept.
Oh, right, like mourning jewelry.
Exactly. During the 19th century, lockets were primarily used for mourning jewelry to hold a lock of hair from a deceased relative, or to keep a portrait of a secret lover close to the chest.
Oh, very dramatic.
Right. It was all about hiding something precious. So what we are seeing with this Theo Grace and Nikki Hilton collaboration is the modernization of that Victorian format to reflect contemporary realities.
And one of the biggest contemporary realities for young adults today is pet parenthood.
Oh, undeniably.
I mean, for a huge portion of the population, their first real experience with caretaking, their first time feeling the anxiety, the overwhelming love, the midnight wake-ups of being a first-time mom is with a fur baby.
Right.
The fact that a high-end brand collaboration is formatting a classic Victorian-style silver locket to showcase a golden retriever completely validates that modern family structure.
And it aligns perfectly with the brand's own video promotional material.
The winding road quote.
Yes. The video uses the tagline, "Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes, driving through."
I love that.
They are actively positioning their products to be constant companions on that unpredictable road. Whether the passenger you pick up along the way is named Charlie, Diego, or, a rescue dog, the brand is providing the hardware to anchor the milestone.
But to really understand how these physical anchors get to the consumer, we have to look at the ecosystem supplying them. We need to look at Theo Grace as a platform.
Right. And from a pure e-commerce standpoint, Theo Grace presents an incredibly strong front of trust and wholesome maternal sentimentality.
Very wholesome.
The source material highlights that they have amassed over 70,000 reviews and maintain a highly impressive 4.5 out of 5 rating.
They project this image of being an absolute juggernaut of familial love. I mean, their blog is loaded with deeply wholesome, helpful content.
It really is.
You have Natasha Johnson writing practical guides like 7 creative ways to store your necklaces to keep them from tangling.
Very practical.
Yeah. You have Rebecca Marshall exploring the enduring allure of lockets. They have articles guiding you on how to find the perfect birthstone gem or design a Mia-named necklace.
Right.
When you browse it, it feels like a perfectly curated, safe ecosystem focused entirely on memory preservation and the innocent joy of new parenthood.
The entire architecture of the site is designed to make the consumer feel nurtured and focused on maternal themes.
So what does this all mean when we scroll down to the very bottom of this incredibly sweet gift guide?
Oh, man.
You scroll past the 18-karat baby feet necklaces, you scroll past the delicate prairie birth flower initials, and you hit the related articles section.
Yep.
Right there, nestled next to the wholesome advice about detangling your silver chains, is an article written by Kelly Harris, published on March 8th, 2026. The title is, and I'm quoting this directly from the source material, "The Meaning of Hot Wife Anklet, Unveiling the Charms of a Hot Wife Ankle Bracelet."
It is a remarkable, jarring tonal shift.
It is the ultimate whiplash. You are reading about using olfactory memory to capture the magical day of your child's birth, and in the next breath, on the exact same blog platform, you are invited to unveil the charms of a lifestyle anklet.
Right.
How does that even happen?
Well, while it feels like a glitch in the matrix, it actually reveals the unvarnished reality of what a modern e-commerce ecosystem is.
Okay, unpack that.
Search algorithms and digital storefronts do not experience tonal whiplash. They index search volume.
Ah, of course.
So while the primary focus of the Natasha Johnson gift guide is sweet maternal sentimentality, a large-scale jewelry platform ultimately caters to the entire spectrum of adult relationships, desires, and personal expression.
So it's throwing a net over every possible reason a human might want to buy a piece of metal.
Exactly. It's a perfectly human contrast. I mean, we are incredibly complex creatures.
Yeah, we contain multitudes.
Exactly. The consumer buying a personalized mommy necklace to celebrate a newborn on a Tuesday might be the exact same consumer exploring entirely different, vastly more adult lifestyles on a Friday.
Wow.
The brand doesn't judge the milestone. It simply provides the gemstones for whatever facet of identity the consumer wants to anchor.
That makes total sense. And honestly, it really strips away the one-dimensional, sanitized view we often force onto new parents.
Right.
Becoming a mother doesn't erase the other complex, multifaceted parts of an adult's life. It's not just baby bottles and chamomile candles.
No, it's not.
It's the entirety of the human experience. And it's all being cataloged by the same algorithm on the same website.
And tracking how we catalog that human experience is really what we've been doing today.
Yeah. Let's retrace the journey we just took. We started in the messy, overwhelming reality of the postpartum adrenaline spike, looking at how the nervous system needs physical comfort. We explored the neuroscience of the olfactory bulb and how something as ephemeral as a specific perfume from the day of labor can act as a visceral, biological time machine.
And from there, we examine the psychological need to make those fleeting moments permanent. We watch the transition from temporary wilting Bali high flowers to hard data-specific names and fixed dates engraved onto gold heart artifacts to serve as an external brain.
We look at how that static metal is engineered to adapt, using modular threaded beads to create a living document for a growing family. We saw how a classic Victorian mourning locket has been modernized by a Nikki Hilton collaboration to validate the modern reality of pet parenthood.
Yeah.
And finally, we uncovered the surprising reality of the e-commerce ecosystem itself, where wholesome baby birthstones and highly specific adult lifestyle anklets share the exact same digital shelf space, serving the complex totality of adulthood.
Ultimately, every single item on that list points back to the psychological need for undeniable, tangible proof that our life's milestones actually happened.
Which leaves me thinking about how we prove our milestones today versus how we will prove them in the future.
What do you mean?
Well, we live in an era where a baby's first year is documented in tens of thousands of digital photos. We shoot them on our phones, we back them up to massive cloud servers, we broadcast them on social media.
It's endless.
It is an absolute avalanche of digital proof. But I want you to project yourself 100 years into the future,
Okay.
when those specific server farms are obsolete, or a proprietary hard drive corrupts, or the passwords are just lost to time. What actually survives?
That's a scary thought.
Will those thousands of pixel-perfect JPEGs simply rot away and vanish into the digital ether?
Probably.
And if they do, will a simple physical gold charm, a little metal heart engraved with the name Charlie and the date 11/4/2014, suddenly carry more historical weight and permanence than our entire digital footprint?
Wow.
Maybe, when it comes to capturing that earth-shattering lightning of new life, the only vessel strong enough to hold it is forged in metal.